Fifth time lucky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so where's the share screen? Well, I suppose I may as well start the video, right, with me speaking, and let's pretend that nothing ever happened before. What do you reckon? Right, everybody's there, everybody's happy, everybody's okay?
Yep.
Brilliant, right, let's get started. So I'm going to show you a live edit. I've not edited this picture before, of two Italian greyhounds running down a path. It may or may not work. I don't actually know yet. So if I'm gonna share my screen. Let's do that. Yay! And you can all see that. You can all see Lightroom.
Yeah. Yep.
Brilliant. Okay. So I've imported these pictures into Lightroom, and so this was the image of one of the dogs that I really liked, and I really like the fact that she was in a really good position. I like the shape of the body. I like the fact that she's jumping over the bag and the coat, I think it is, and there's nothing of her kind of chopped off. And then the other dog, I didn't like that one because obviously there's half the legs are gone. Same with that one. I think it might be this one, because in this one, as you can see, this dog is sort of, its body language is oh, where's it gone? Okay. Can you see what I mean? It's sort of, there's going to be balance. Yeah. One sort of goes to the left, one sort of goes to the right, but you can see actually I took each picture at a slightly different angle, not angle, zoom length. But the good news is that they've got such short fur. Hopefully, if this doesn't work, me just generally cutting it out, hopefully it shouldn't be too hard to just cut the whole of the dog out. I might not just sort of waste like your time showing you exactly all of that, but let's just see how we get on. But I need a background that works. Now at the time, I took 4 pictures, as I've said already, and I think because I want, this is going to be my base picture. I love how this is nice and blurred, but I need a path that's going to work. And if I can see down here, it's fairly in focus, and here it's not in focus. So I need to get some elements of the picture that can, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, make that work. So which one? Not that. I think I decided this one was okay. So I'm going to, which picture is it? Get all 3 images. Control edit in Photoshop. So yeah, you need to do it better than I did. But it's hard, you know. The other thing is when you're out on location, it's hard to actually see the screen and your camera. I don't know if you find this. So it's not always easy to get things exactly correct, but you just do your best and take quite a few pictures for the background, and then hopefully you'll get elements in at least one of them that will work. Now, I could just use this picture. Can you see this? Yep. Yep. I could just use this picture as the background.
And put both of them in? And
just put, oh no, that's the wrong picture. Just put both of those dogs on that background.
Right.
That could work. It might even be easier. I've actually imported the wrong picture of the second dog, so let me see. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, it might. And the good news is for me with these 2 dogs is that they are, like I say, their fur is so short that if need be, they should be relatively easy to cut out. But I'm going to try it the other way, because you don't always have, oh sorry, I'm doing things without explaining. So just get the lasso tool, do a rough cut around, Command C to copy, Command paste. Da-da. Okay, so clearly that isn't right. So I need to go Command T to make bigger.
Wow.
There's only so much of this you can get away with, because obviously I'm artificially making it bigger. That makes sense.
Yeah, does it stretch the pixels or something?
Yeah, it's, you know, I wouldn't want to be doing it a lot. Like if it was really, really tiny and making it that big, you know, it wouldn't work. But I think I got away with it. That's my favourite phrase, isn't it? Get away with. Judy likes that, don't you, Judy? Oh, Judy's on mute. Okay.
I do. It makes me smile.
Is that because I'm doing what you're doing? Getting
Yes.
away with it? Yeah. Well, right. Okay. So space E to get the eraser. Did it make sense when I was talking about things being brushes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because obviously a lot of people think a brush is basically something that you'd use to paint with. But when you're using the eraser or the clone stamp tool or any of these things, it's up here in the brushes area that you choose. But I only ever use this one. It's just a normal brush. Oh, see on this side, it looks okay. And here it looks okay. It's just this area here. So I'm going to go in. It's a bit noisy actually, but it's not too bad. See how much of this, ideally I'd get rid of as little of this as possible. And ideally I don't want to have to get rid of anything around here because, but you see what I mean? Sometimes when you start getting rid of things, you get closer and closer to the dog, you start being able to notice more and more it's not looking right, especially around things like whiskers. Now if I was zoomed out,
That's great.
well, you would still notice the whiskers, wouldn't you? So really what I've got two options here, because you can't, look, see, there's a slight difference. Do you see that? There's a slight difference in, because there was a difference in terms of the zoom length, what is behind this dog wasn't quite as blurred as this dog. So it just starts to look better the more I get rid of it. It was getting quite dark, so the actual dog they're a bit noisy. Because obviously I was using quite a fast shutter speed. You know, they're Italian greyhounds. They are very, very fast. So it's you know, there's a fair bit of noise going on here, but actually when you zoom out, you can't tell. So that's fine. Getting away with it. Get away with it. That's my.
Rianne, can you let Tony in the room, please?
Oh God, sorry. I didn't realise there's anybody waiting. Hang on. Thanks for letting me know. Hi Tony, sorry about that. I didn't realise you were there. Once I'm in over here, it doesn't really it doesn't give me a notification. But thank you, Judy. So Tony, what I'm doing is I'm just I'll just show you. Command 0 to go to full screen. I've brought the dog on the right in from another picture, and I was hoping to be able to get away with just that kind of loose selection around the dog and have them sort of float on the picture like I did in the edit of Boo and Betsy. But unfortunately, there's two reasons why it hasn't been working so well. And the main reason is because what is behind the dog is not the same as where I'm trying to place the dog, i.e. here. This area doesn't look too bad. But the other reason is because I took this picture of this dog at a slightly different zoom length than I did of this dog, which means that what is behind this dog is a different level of blurred. So what I could have done is I could have gone onto manual focus and just focused literally just over the jump. But there was no guarantee that they were going to jump in the right place. But that would have made my life a lot, well, it could have made my life a lot easier. But there's no, you know, there's no guarantees with these things. I'm just saying also that it's a bit noisy because it was getting quite dark, and obviously I had to use quite a fast shutter speed. They are very, very quick dogs, and so consequently the ISO, I think it's gone up to about 2000 or so. So, you know, it's looking a bit noisy, but as I say, I can get away with it because when you zoom back out, you wouldn't really notice. And bear in mind, these are unedited pictures. This is in the raw state. So when I take it back into Lightroom, I'm going to be able to do a little bit of noise reduction anyway. Now, I don't want to waste your time, me spending ages cutting this dog out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can't get rid of some of it using the magic wand. I may or may not be able to. Oh, no, what's the tolerance? Do you understand about tolerance with this thing? Do you see I've reduced the tolerance and it's selected a much smaller selection?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm not obviously not happy with that selection, it's not enough for me. So if I go shift, can you see that little plus coming?
Yeah.
Okay, so what the problem is here is there's not enough contrast between in this area. So it's just going over the selection. So the magic wand in this instance isn't going to really do much at all for me. So I'm just going to carry on with the eraser. Sometimes the basic tools are the best. That's not to say there aren't some really amazing tools to do selections in Photoshop. There are, they just don't always work that well. If anybody's got any better ideas, I'm all ears. I used to really go to town and really go into detail and sort of, if I had to really cut around a dog, I can remember I did a composite of a boxer. It was the first one I ever did, and I spent 17 hours on it. I can remember because I timed it. What I didn't realize about at the time about just being able to have what's behind the dog as the background and cut it out loosely. I actually cut out all the detail, completely all the detail, and then I repainted in hairs. It was ridiculous. Like nobody could tell. It was just really silly. So I really didn't need to do that. I'm going to go 100%. I've just noticed I'm doing the eraser at 77% opacity, which is in this instance a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah, and can you paint in whiskers?
Well, if you look at these whiskers here, you'd have a job, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Let me try, just because you've asked the question. So if I go to an actual brush, or maybe a pencil tool might be better. Now bear in mind, obviously all of these things are a brush at the end of the day. Let's get that bit bigger. Right, okay, so that looked absolutely dreadful. So let's see, opacity. Yeah, what I would be more inclined to do would be to go into the detail and clone it.
Right.
But I think it depends. I mean, because obviously whiskers, they're thicker at one end and they're thinner at another end. That's really, really hard to get right, like really difficult. I personally would be more inclined just to get rid of them and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's what I've done. I just wanted to ask.
I mean, it really depends. Like if it's a close-up of the dog, if it's a real close-up, you might notice. But if the dog is actually quite far away in the picture, are you even going to notice? That's the question. Is it actually worth your time and effort doing it? If it is, then yeah. I mean, you might be able to get some whiskers from another picture and clone them in.
Okay.
But yeah.
Right.
I always find things like that difficult and not necessarily worth the hassle. So I'm not going to bother with this area just yet, just because I know I've got to get rid of this bag anyway. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to leave that there just for a second. I know that this ear isn't looking good, and I'm slightly worried about what I'm going to do about these whiskers. It might be if I just maybe move it over slightly. I don't necessarily need to do anything. This is the thing, the original place where you put the dog isn't necessarily where you need to keep them. See, now I've noticed something down there. This area's fine, up here's not fine. So I definitely know I need to sort out the, stop that. And I definitely need to sort out the ears and around here. What I'm going to do with the whiskers, I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, let's have a look at the floor first, because that was obviously going to be a problem. So where is the floor? Was it this one? I think it was this one, yeah. So let's just have a look back, see what I need. So this area here, this is going to be a laugh. I'm not sure I've done a very good job. Never mind. Let's get maybe a bit more than we think we need. So lasso tool, just a loose selection, copy, paste. Use the move tool to drag it down. Oh, look, that bit's there. I wonder. Did you see what I just did there? See these bits?
Yeah.
That's that bit, isn't it? So if I put that there, hopefully it might blend in, but you can see, look. Let's go space E. Little bits are probably okay. I can probably sort those out. I mean, this bit here, I reckon I might get a bit from another picture for that. And this bit over here, I could grab these bits here and fill that in. That wouldn't be a problem at all. But I think that's okay for now. What I'm going to do is, because I still want this dog here to be a separate entity, I'm going to move this layer up to the top, and I'm going to select this layer that I've just brought in. I'll see now when you hide it and thingy it again, you can see actually where it doesn't look right. I'm just going to see if I can get rid of a bit of that. Okay, I'm just making it look worse. I think what I need to do, because this area here is the only area that's slightly more in focus. So if I made this less in focus, it would blend in. And this area here, I'm not quite sure, it might look a bit weird, but I don't know, we'll see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this layer down, so the layer 2 and the background become one layer. I'm just going to go for it. Merge down. So this layer at the top, did you understand that? So this layer at the top is still separate. But the background is now one thing.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just easier for me to edit that way as one layer. So now I'm going to go with the clone stamp tool and try and sort out this area here, because it's not looking quite right, because some of it's oh sorry, I'm on the wrong layer. Some of it's looking right, some of it isn't. That's all right. What do you reckon?
Yeah,
this bit down here is obviously a dupe. Get rid of that. That's gone. Let's sort this out here. Am I going too fast for people? Is it all okay?
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Now, instead of, I'm just going to go back to my original picture to see if I've got a bit of the area here, because I can see there's various different colours. There might be, because anything to make my life easier is a good thing. No, stop. See that? That looks okay. So let's see. This is why it's actually, it's a good idea to get a few pictures so you can get elements from them to play with. Let's see a bit of that. You get more than you need, because you can always get rid of it afterwards. Okay, so let's look. Huh. Nice.
Wow.
Yes. Oh yeah. Do you see what I did there?
Yeah, much easier than cloning everything out.
And it works. Much, much easier. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to merge this layer down. I'm just going to do that again, just to double check I'm happy. Yep, I'm going to merge it down. Nope, not merge visible, merge down. If I merge visible, I'll merge all of them, and I don't want to do that yet because I've still got to sort that dog out. So I'm going to clone stamp tool again, sorry. Yep, that size is fine. Okay, that's clearly a dupe, so I'm just going to mess it up a bit. Let's put a bit more purple in, we like the purple. That's all right. I've got to sort this area out over here. All
right.
Sorry, Rose, yeah?
Oh, sorry, I was just about to shout at the dog. I could hear her growling.
Okay, it's real life editing. They're allowed to bark if they want to. So, yeah, we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's not proving to be too much of an onerous task. But I can see over this area over here. What's that bit? That looks a bit weird. What's happening there? I've got nowhere I can get information from for this bit. So I'm going to go back to my originals again just to see. Oh, look, there it is. Oh, no, hang on, I already brought that in. Hang on. I go back over here. Get the lasso tool again. So that one I did of Boo and Betsy was far easier. It was, you just get the stuff, bring it in. It was so simple. This obviously more complicated. Is that working? I don't know. Let's see. I can always get rid of it. What do you reckon? I think that's fine because I'm going to merge that down again.
When you merge down, sorry, Rianne, when you merge down, is it just how do you make sure it's the two right layers, if you see what I mean?
Yeah, sure. So I've just undone that. So what I have, so this is the layer that I brought in, right?
Yeah.
And you can tell which layer you have got selected by the fact that in the layers palette here, this is, you know, it's got that lighter grey bar. So I know that's one that's selected. It has to be, I know that it is above the background, and I know that the second dog is on his her own layer up the top, and that's fine. So I select the layer that I want to merge down, and then I go merge down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Thank you.
And then let's see, the cloning again. That's all right. Don't need that bit. I can't even tell what he's doing now. What's going on? All right, there's a dupe there. What do you reckon?
Amazing. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm slightly, I don't know, it just looks a bit weird. You've got like one bit that's in focus, then them. Mind you, I'm thinking when I crop this, because those two are here, I'm probably be inclined to crop it about here anyway. So I might even have this bit in the actual final picture. I'm not even sure I will. So I'm not going to worry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this dog out now because it's high time I sorted her out. So I just need to go in with the eraser. Now you see where you've got bits where it's clear, there's a clear difference between, oh hang on, wrong layer. The dog, what is behind the dog on that particular layer and what's behind, you have to go into detail, otherwise it's so obvious that you've cut it out. And it can be quite a boring task. But getting this bit done right makes it look right. And I would suggest you take this in small chunks. This is just how I do it. Like I said, people may have a better way. If so, let me know. But this is the way I've always done it. And like you said, I've got reasonably quick at doing it, I suppose. I'm hoping I don't have to edit completely out all of the dog. But yeah, I can't tell you how handy this is when I've got dogs that definitely won't sit together. And you can make them stressed, making them do something, and you can make the I don't like the word owner, the person stressed, or you can just say, well, I'll do a composite. And then you know that you've got all the extra work to do in the, see, look, this you're going to really tell because it's darker behind the original dog and lighter in what is then going to be behind them. Some people use a tablet. I don't know if anybody's ever used one of those. I never have, but because sometimes when you're going into the nitty gritty detail here, using a mouse can be a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, with the way I used to have one, but I mean I've still got one, but it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, when I was doing my sort of yeah, I used to do it, but it is a lot easier because you can be a little bit more detailed. But I haven't used it for years.
What's that thing?
What's
that thing there? Oh, whoops. Sorry, this is the boring bit. Once we've done this bit, we can get on to the more exciting bit, taking it back into Lightroom and making it look amazing. So yeah, any bits that are really, really obvious. Let me just try moving it over even a bit more. Ah, look at that. Did you see that? I moved it over and all of a sudden I didn't have to worry about this bit. Anybody see that?
Go back again. Go back again.
Hang on.
All right. Okay.
I'm just looking at this bit here. This bit I've still got to worry about, but this particular bit, see what I mean? This is why having the same background helps so very much. Okay, so that bit's okay. I think that bit's okay. This bit here isn't. Oh, now I've gone and done it. I have to do the whole leg now. But also you notice that, I mean, the level of blur isn't exactly the same either. So you know, in truth, I don't really know what I'm going to do about these whiskers. I might actually just have to get rid of them, which would be, oh, hang on a minute. Let me see. What's the colour? See this dog's whiskers here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's weird. So look, can you see that? I never noticed that before. So this dog's whiskers here look white, and this dog's whiskers here look black. Because what I was going to do, I was going to see if I could get whiskers from this dog and put them on this dog, but clearly I can't do that unless, because that would look really, really weird. What I'm going to do in a minute, I'm just going to finish off the rest of it. Oops. And then I'm going to see, oh, I think I flattened it when something wasn't quite right here. I'm going to see if I can get whiskers from a different picture. And yes, I am actually going to do that, because there might be whiskers that are in front of a background that is similar. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I can't, I mean, I can cut them off. I cannot cut around them. It's just going to be too complicated because they're just too thin. And this bit is a bit annoying. Sorry if this is boring. This is
No,
this is just what you've got to do. I tend to go around the edges with a small brush first. Make sure I've got the edges looking good. Hoping, because you can see, look at that, you can see that dark line. Oh God. This is why I prefer not to do montages if at all possible, because they take, oh, it's only about half an hour since I started. It's not too bad actually. And this is just the last little bit anyway. Well, apart from the whiskers. Yeah, see what, there we go. So we're getting into an area that is similar. So you won't necessarily notice. So you can notice that there, but you don't notice it there. Do you see that? So you don't have to worry too much about that bit. And then you can get your brush incrementally bigger as you get further away from the dog, because obviously the last thing you want to do is remove the dog. Is this teaching you stuff, or is this the same as a lesson? I don't want to be kind of regurgitating the same thing.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's good to see you doing it patiently.
Patiently, yeah. I go on about patience, but sometimes when it comes to computers, it kind of goes out the window. But I figure it's okay because it's not aimed at the dog. So, okay, this is wrong, but that doesn't look right at all. So I'm going to get this. Here's another thing that can help you, right? If I get the cone stamp tool, and I'm on the background, so if I go like that. Hang on a minute, what's that? Oh, I see, because I still haven't erased this area here. Oh, wrong layer. That's the thing. Make sure you're on the right layer when you're erasing things. Right, I think that we're nearly there. Looks a bit weird though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just always be critical. It doesn't have to be accurate. It just has to look right. I don't like that. It doesn't look right to my eyes. So I'm just going to get a bit of, I don't know. Do you see what I mean? It just looks a bit weird. What do you think? Did it look better before? I don't know.
It's hard.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be a little bit more kind of. I think that looks a bit better. It's a little bit more kind of broken up visually. Now, what I'm going to do now is I need to sort out. So I think I'm pretty much happy with everything. Oh no, look, I've just noticed another bit. See that there? Eraser, wrong layer. There. Oh God, got that right. Yeah, so it's this area here. And by the way, I know I've gone on in my Photoshop lessons before about the Command plus, Command minus, and using the space bar to move around. That's all I'm doing. It's just so much easier than using these bars. Don't like these. So what I'm going to go and do, I'm going to go into another picture and see if I've got some whiskers with what is behind the dog here. That makes sense? So what is there? It's this kind of colour. It's kind of like a light green. Have I got any pictures of this dog where she has a light green. Oh, that is the picture that I used. No. No. I might actually have some on the card. So it's even worth doing it because, you know, why not give it a go? Oh, it's gonna... Hello, wakey wakey. Might say the easier thing to do is just to get rid of the whiskers, but as we're here showing you how to make it look amazing, why not? Some of my originals. So stop moving, stop moving. Okay, so uncheck all. So this is the second dog, so I'm just going to bring in a few of the second dog out. It might not work at all, you know. It might be completely different type of blur. I don't know yet, but it's worth giving it a go because whiskers are such a pain. You can't see the whiskers there. Nope. Can't see the whiskers there. No. So spindly. Oh, that leg's in the way. Damn. Okay, so that's a no then. See that? Did you get that? That's basically a no, but it was worth... Oh no, hang on. Oh, no, can't do it. Fine. Can't do it. Right. I'm going to try and remove as much as I possibly can and hope that it doesn't look really, really rubbish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the eraser. I'm going to zoom in. But when it gets to being right close to the whiskers, because you can see it's totally different, it's not going to blend in at all. It's incredible how sharp these reasonably noisy pictures can look when you zoom out. Because this is quite noisy and it was really getting quite dark at the time. Okay. So, I mean, you know, look, we've got a pink and a green. What are we going to do? I'm going to reduce the opacity of the eraser to say about 50%. And I'm just going to see if I can just give it a go. But then look, it's all complicated and I'd have to get rid of that one anyway. And I mean, it's not looking good. See what I mean? It's what colour was the other dog's one? White. I mean, why shouldn't this dog have white whiskers? Do you know what I mean? This one's got white whiskers. Why can't this one have white whiskers? But if I look at, because what I'm thinking of doing is grabbing these whiskers here, copying, pasting them, flipping them, and just putting them here. In fact, let's show you. But what I can see is the background is different. It's not the same green. So I've got that. So I go Command T, and if you go up to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and I'm going to need to bring this layer above. Obviously, we don't need any of the Yeah, see, it's completely different green. But I might be able to change the colour of the green. I see how we're getting far too complicated here. It becomes, is it worth the hassle? If I just delete the whiskers, will anybody notice? Do you know what I mean? Who will notice apart from, how many of you are there? 4. 4. How many will actually notice?
We'll tell.
Let's try and get rid of as much of this as possible. No, it's not working. So I'm going to just delete that layer. Gone. I'm going to try doing a little bit more erasing on these hairs, just to see if I can't kind of wing it and get away with it. I suppose what I could do is just try and erase as much as possible, flatten it, and then go in with the clone stamp tool. Is it worth it? Can you actually see it when you... Oh no, I've got rid of them. I just think it looks terrible.
You can't.
Maybe what I could try and do, I've got an idea. Because I've done the best I can with it. Now it's pink, right? It is pink. Perhaps we do have some elements of pink here. Perhaps if I get that background, I do some cloning, say, of here. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, on a new layer. Oh no, hang on the background layer, sorry. Oh, see, it's made it even more visible now. No, because there's a mixture of pink and green. Where I got the pink, it's looking a bit better, but where the green is on here, it's looking worse. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's actually looking worse.
Looks
Terrible. Dreadful. I think...
Scrub them.
We'll see what it looks like if I I'll just get rid of as much as I possibly can. Just reduce the opacity again, just to kind of not be, oh, sorry, on the one layer again, not quite so obvious. I mean, I personally think if you've got like a couple sticking out, it looks more realistic than, say, nothing. But of course, if you've got something that really draws your eye to it, and you know, all of these are pixels at the end of the day. I can go in really, really small and get rid of as many of the lighter pixels as possible until such time as I get to a space where it's becoming less and less noticeable, and you've just got these sort of fragments. And what I can do, if I get any whiskers that look okay, I can do a little bit of cloning with them to make it look a little bit more like there are more whiskers. Oh, you think you've done it right, and then there's still loads there. Right, who's noticing that?
No.
Judy, do you notice it? No, she can't.
No.
Wendy? Wendy?
No.
Tony's gone. Probably gone to do something better. I know I'm taking far too long. But you know, this is what happens sometimes with these sorts of things. They can be really, really boring to do. And that's the problem. It's hard to sort of envisage these issues at the time when you're taking the pictures. And like I say, this is why sometimes things don't work. But I mean, I'm really going into detail here because I don't want it to look rubbish. I think, you know what? I think that is going to look fine. I'll just get rid of a bit more of this. It can be subtle because the dog, it's so far away. As I say, if this was really close up, I'd have much more of an issue. But the fact that there's something sticking out here is, look, that's all right, isn't it? That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Great.
Oh, God, right, exhausted. Okay, so let's just do that. Just for a final check, see if I'm happy with everything. Because once you've flattened it, that's it. This area here, I don't know what's happened there. I'm just going to go and do a bit of cloning over this because it looks like I've done something in I don't know, it just looked a bit weird. That's a bit better. Yeah, because once I flatten it and I take it into the Lightroom, that's it. Right, that is it, I think. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I could either merge visible or just flatten image, flatten it. Command S to save, close it, turns it into a TIFF. Oh no, it's saving still. Oh, no. Right, back into Lightroom. Go to all photographs. Where's it gone? Right, there it is. So that was the original picture. Oh look, that thing there, which I thought looked weird, was actually in the original. Never mind, it looks better anyway. So, okay, so let's do some edits. So I'm going to go to develop. I mean, they're not central, so I want them to be central. So I'm going to get the crop. So this area here that I was a little bit concerned about. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, slightly thingy. What I can do is I'm going to get the adjustment brush. Double click on effect. So let's go no clarity, no sharpness. And I'm going to go over this area over here. Yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, let's do some colouring. Let's a bit of vibrancy, bit of saturation. Yeah, I love the colours. This is the common here where I live. It's just so peaceful and so beautiful and so lovely. I'm very lucky to.
What's it called?
Woodbury Common.
You know, I was just about to say, was it Woodbury Common? Because when I went to meet my friend who lives near Buckfast Abbey, we met in actually Honiton, and I actually asked someone on the Facebook page for Forever Hounds Trust where there was good places to walk, and he suggested Woodbury Common.
Oh, well, there you go then. So you know what I'm talking about.
We didn't actually go because it was a bit too far down, so we met in Honiton.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry,
I've been doing things without telling you what I'm doing, so let me just recap what I've just done. So I've put a tiny bit of contrast, bit of texture, clarity, bit of dehaze, bit of vibrancy, bit of saturation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into these colours and kind of boost them a little bit more. So I get the adjustment brush. Where is it? Saturation. So I just want to sort of make these pop a little bit because they're so lovely. Oops. Maybe make that a bit more saturated. Actually, I'm going to put a bit more up here as well. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I'm going to do a radial filter on them. And what I'm going to do with that is I just want to make them pop just a little bit. So it's just a tiny bit of exposure up, bit of shadows, bit of sharpening, see what happens. So I go from the middle and just drag out and then let go. If I go down here, you see where it goes invert? Okay, so I'm just making sure that I've got it in the right. Yeah, so that's not right, because that's the bit I actually want. And I've done it so subtly, I can even tell. So that shows me I need to do some more to it. So a bit more exposure, not too much, because they're actually exposed really quite well, but I want them to pop a little bit of texture, some clarity. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an adjustment brush, double click effect, and I'm going to put a bit more sharpness and texture over their faces, because that's what I really want your eye to go to the most. You see, that's just a subtle difference, but it's made a difference. And also because there was a bit, there's some noise in this picture, I'm just going to go down to, where is it, noise reduction. Just sort of gets rid of a bit. See, it's a bit nicer. Yeah, I think probably that'd be all I would do. I've also put I put a post-crop vignette on it as well, just to sort of, if I take that off again, look. I just like the way it kind of focuses your eye a bit more. I'm going to put a bit of black in as well. There you go. So, what do you reckon? That was the original.
Yeah.
And that's the completed. Oh, there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm really happy with that, actually. After all that rigmarole with the whiskers and the floor, yeah, I'm really, really happy. I think that looks good. I definitely got away with it, and I mean, with these things, obviously it's not realistic, because clearly no dog would jump for no reason. Well, they might do, but they definitely wouldn't jump at the same time.
If you've got a Saluki, yeah, it jumps. It spins. It helicopters.
So, was that all clear, Wendy?
Yeah.
Very good. You've been very quiet. I hope that you've learned a bit more from that, as opposed to just the lesson. Has there been anything more that you've got from that, other than that I find things hard too sometimes? It's not always plain sailing.
No, it's just interesting how you can sort of, I think, take bits from other places and pop them on instead of the cloning. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and this is, so I think my one tip for you there, I'm just going to stop sharing, I'm going to give you back me. My one tip with that would be take a few sort of source pictures after the fact. What if I could go back to that moment in time again, what I would do is I would manually focus on where I think that they were going to jump, and get them to do a few jumps. But of course, they might not have jumped through that exact spot. And you can't get them to do it over and over and over and over again. This was like towards the end of the shoot. They were getting a little bit tired. The light was going. So I thought, if I just get some that are in focus with them jumping over the bag, I can kind of play around with things afterwards. And but yeah, having them go over the same spot, but kind of one slightly over than the other one, because as we saw, because the background is so important. It's so important, but it's much, much harder when it's a running shot. If they're sitting, like we say, you can plan it. I was even saying to Wendy, I think it was earlier, wasn't it, Wendy? You can actually try and maybe put like a marker, like a leaf or a little stone where you want in each dog to sit, so that you know exactly where they're going to be, and that make your life so easy. But when it's a running shot, it's much, much harder, because you cannot pinpoint exactly where they're going to jump, and therefore composites of running shots are more difficult for that reason. So I think that'll do. Does anybody get any more questions for me?
No,
No.
that's lovely. Thank you, Rianne.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about the rigmarole at the beginning,
Oh,
but I've got it sorted now. The next lesson coming is the dogs with people.
ooh.
So I think everybody can do that. Yeah, it's nice taking pictures of dogs with people. It's all about the relationship and the kind of like the bond. I don't like these pictures where you've got dog sitting, person standing. That's not my kind of cup of tea at all. But I've got a few ideas for getting nice pictures of people with dogs. So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy that. That's coming. When is it coming? Tomorrow? Yeah. All right. So that'll do for now. And yeah, as I say, any more questions you've got, just post them in the group. And yeah, thanks for being patient and waiting with me for doing that. And yeah, I'll speak to you later.
Brilliant. Thanks, Rianne.
No worries. Have a good day. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.